comeoninsportsnetwork.
NFL Nation, how you doing? Come on in. Welcome to As the NFL Turns. Welcome to the Come On In Sports Network, and welcome to the 2025 Best Free Agents Available show. We got Lawrence in the building. We got Jeremy in the building. The other guys may be coming in, but hey, long as you're here, we thank you for being here. We're going to have some fun breaking down, looking at the upcoming free agent class for this year's upcoming 2025 season. But before we go any further, let my brothers introduce themselves and their platforms. Jeremy.
Good afternoon, fam. Thank you for joining us here on the Come On In Sports Network. Jeremy from Beware the Stampede and Come On In Bills. You can find me on Twitter at BWR the Stampede. Hope you all having a wonderful Sunday. Kick it over to my man Lawrence here.
What's up, everybody? Good to be here. The 2025 season is underway. We're excited here at Come On In Sports to get us started. Free agency is fast approaching. The combine is this week, so it's really kind of the kickoff to the 2025 season. You can find me at Come On In Sports for and out on our website. I'll be joining Jeremy on Come On In Bills moving forward. And then on Twitter, TikTok as well, you can find us at Come On In Sports. Hit us up everywhere.
That's right, everywhere. We everywhere, baby. We all over. Turn over a rock and we there. Break the leaves and we there. I'm just saying. But anyway, family, hope everybody's having a great Sunday, like Jeremy said. Hurricane Mike, thank you for being here. The Ledger is in the building. Thank you for being here. Mike said I'm here bright and early today. I got you, Mike. I got you. All right. Thank you all for being here. Again, as you come in, hit that notification bell. Hit it. Make sure you like the show so we can keep them coming. Grow the channel. All right, gentlemen. As we get ready to learn, as you said, the free agents 2025 season basically has already started. So as we get ready for the scouting combine coming up, the most important thing is March the 12th. Well, before the draft, teams have an opportunity to address some of their glaring needs before the draft by already proven commodities. We know that those coming in from the draft, you don't know. You think you know what you're getting, but you really don't know until you actually get them in the building and in your system. So what's your thoughts on the free agency happening before the draft? I even heard some people suggested that maybe free agency should occur after the draft.
That would make the most sense, but I don't think you'll ever get the NFLPA to sign off on that because then teams aren't going to have as much of a need because they've filled them with the draft, right? So
right.
I don't think it will. And you always hear about the marriage of free agency and the draft. Like where's the strength in the draft, and maybe the free agency is going to be weak in that area because, hey, I can get a cheaper guy for 5 years control in the draft, like defensive tackle, for example. This year has a really strong defensive tackle group. And then in free agency, they might kind of be pinching the pennies there a little bit to try to find some money because, hey, I can go in the draft and get somebody there.
Right. Jeremy, your thoughts, my brother?
I mean, I agree with Lawrence. I don't think you're ever going to see a change, especially with the pressure that you'll get from the Players Association, the agents. I mean, it's money. Money talks, right? So if they have the opportunity to go to teams, get that payday while they can before they know what needs they might need to fill through the draft, you're unlikely to see that change. I mean, like anything, money makes the world go around, right? Especially when it comes to sports. I mean, we see it all the time. So until that somehow changes or there's an incentive to push that later, I don't think you're going to see it change.
Got you. And what's funny is the top free agent, right? Free agent who is a free agent coming into the 2024 season. There's not one person, not here on this panel, on any platform you may go watch, anybody you may watch on TV that would have told you or had a crystal ball that would have said or thought that Sam Darnold will be the darling, will be the top prize going into the 2025 offseason, going into the 2025 free agency period. But that's exactly who it is, family. And here it is, Sam Darnold right now. He's the jewel right now. Sam Darnold goes to Minnesota, finds a home. Really, when he first went there, we know he was supposed to be there to be the emergency backup for a young quarterback, McCarthy. McCarthy gets hurt. Sam starts and just has a career year, the best year of his career. Now, at the end, unfortunately, the final 2 weeks of the final week of the regular season and in the playoffs, he kind of did not. Well, not kind of. He dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. Listen, if he wins, if he gets the Vikings to the divisional round, at least to the divisional round, I think you're looking at Sam Darnold at least getting $35 million a year or more. So,
I mean, it hurt him from a payday perspective, 100%. I mean, I believe they even talked about that during the game. I mean, yeah, he had a great season, but at the end, everyone always remembers the end. What happened at the end, right? Not everyone remembers what happened up until that point. So
exactly,
he didn't do himself any favors in it, but nonetheless, he's still going to get a nice payday. He's going to get an opportunity to start somewhere. You know, it's really changed his whole trajectory of his career just by, honestly, pure luck and an injury.
Yeah.
And he bet on himself, kind of like Baker Mayfield did the year before, taking a deal where he has a chance to play. He knew with a young quarterback he'd have a chance to play because you never know what's going to happen to that rookie. And Baker took a chance on himself with the Bucs, got a payday.
Yep.
And Darnold realized, hey, if I get to play, I'm going to be throwing to Justin Jefferson. I'm going to be throwing to Addison. I'm going to be throwing to Hawkinson. I have Jones in the backfield.
Right.
You know, so he knew if I get a chance to play, this is the best chance for me to succeed. And the gamble paid off.
So if you guys were in Sam Darnold's shoes, the first 6 years of your career in the NFL did not go as you pictured or wanted it to go. You go to Minnesota, you get with Coach Kevin O'Connell, excuse me. You get with a good coach. You got arguably the best receiver in the NFL, but his best friend will argue otherwise up there in Cincinnati. But you got one of the best in the National Football League. You got a solid defense, solid offensive line. I mean, if you're Sam Darnold, do you even consider leaving Minnesota? Now, I've read that the Vikings still plan that they're having McCarthy as their guy. So if you're Sam Darnold, do you sign a 2-year deal, a short-term 2-year deal with them? Or do you go into free agency, and if a team throws you $35 plus $40 million, I think you got to take it. But at the same time, will you have the same success there that you had in Minnesota? And if I'm a franchise, do I pour in $40 million to Sam Darnold after one successful season. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Jeremy.
I was going to say, if I'm Darnold right now and I have the opportunity to stay in Minnesota, I'm going to stay in Minnesota and take a deal. And the reason I would probably do this right now with J.J. McCarthy, he's still not fully healed. Don't know how that's going to go. You don't know how quickly they're going to put him back into action. And you know what you're getting with Sam Darnold in that offense. I think if you go somewhere else, it's always that risk of, are you going to get paid? Are you going to get the opportunity to play? And what tools do you have around you to be successful? Like, didn't work out in New York. It didn't work out in Carolina. You came to Minnesota and you found, essentially, we'll call it a home, right? Granted, it was by a stroke of luck in some ways, but right now, they still need a quarterback in Minnesota, technically. Until J.J. McCarthy is fully cleared to play, they need somebody, and you know what you've got with Sam Darnold. Granted, he struggled at the end of the season, but look where he got you to that point, Some of the best records that Minnesota's ever had. So I think right now, if I'm him, I'm staying in Minnesota at least for the next year or two, just because you know what you're getting and you know where you are, depending on what the price is and what they're willing to pay him, too.
Right.
And then if you look at Jeremy nailed it, look at the best fits. Are they good career decisions for Sam Darnold? Are the Browns going to further his career? Are the Titans going to? They just have ran through a couple quarterbacks there in Tennessee. The Giants have Malik Neighbors, but they've been a kind of dumpster fire for most of the last 5-6 years. So sometimes the grass isn't greener, right? And
right.
No matter how much money makes that grass green, he knows what it's like to be in a franchise that just isn't good. And it's a balance of, does he only care about money, or does he want to have the success he had this year and maybe take 10% less to stay in Minnesota?
Well, and could the Browns even afford him at this point? I mean, they're so heavy into Deshaun Watson now at this point. They're going to struggle. And honestly, you got the whole Myles Garrett thing still you got to figure out some point. I don't think they trade him necessarily, though. But, that's a whole nother looming piece. Honestly, who the hell wants to go to the Browns? Does anybody at this point in the NFL? Unless you have to? Really?
Yeah, exactly. Quarterbacks go there to die.
I mean, honestly.
Boy, y'all.
Katie's laughing in the background.
hey, Dog Pound. Dog didn't say that. That's Jeremy and Larry. I didn't say that.
I mean, look, Cleveland, I love you. I do. I feel for you. You're not that far from us, but man, that is not a franchise you want to end up at right now.
Yeah.
All right. So looking at some of the numbers during the season for Sam Darnold, he recorded the third longest average time to throw. So, like I say, he had the time in the pocket to throw. He had over 3 seconds, which is one of the lowest marks in the NFL this past season. He led the NFL in deep completions going into week 18 with 27 for 996 yards and 9 touchdowns, which was tied for first. So you can't take away what the kid did. What this season with Sam Darnold reminds me of is when Geno Smith first got to Seattle.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same picture. We were waiting for that moment for this kid to reach his potential that many thought he had when he came into the league. And since Geno has gone to Seattle, he's been that dude. He's been balling. He's been the best thing that happened to them since they got rid of Russell Wilson. And then this year, you take in Sam Darnold. I see, what was the comment? Someone was saying, Mr. Gar said, Mr. Darnold is backup material, will always remain that. During the season, there's no taking it back. Y'all know what I was saying about Sam Darnold every Sunday morning. Man, that's Sam Darnold. Just wait. And you know what? It's people like me that waited to week 18 and the wild card round to say, I told you, just wait. He was going to turn back into Sam Darnold. But know what? You can't take away the season. You can't let the last 2 weeks mar the season that this kid had. It was a career year. He looked like a starting quarterback. He looked like he belonged. He found the home. And like Jeremy said, they don't know what they got in McCarthy because he was hurt. Will he even be ready to start the season? Now, on the flip side, the thing is, the other backup that they signed later in the season, which was Daniel Jones. So do they stick with Daniel Jones and allow Sam to move on in free agency? So now that's the dilemma right now. And listen, Daniel Jones has went to the playoffs and does have a playoff victory. And by the way, it was against the Vikings. So I'm just saying. So
and you're going to get Danny Dimes a hell of a lot cheaper than you're going to get Sam Darnold right now.
Yeah,
I mean that's the flip side, right? Like you got to look at what's it going to cost you to keep him, right?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones needs a home. He wants to play. I agree. I'm glad. See, Ravens fan, even though you're a Ravens fan, I got no hate there. But yeah, Daniel Jones is going to be a hell of a lot cheaper option right now than Sam Darnold. And then you have to debate if you keep Daniel Jones, is he as good of a quarterback as Sam Darnold in that offense necessarily? I mean, honestly, I don't like Daniel Jones, but that's probably a lot cheaper option. You're going to probably still get pretty good numbers when you got that kind of offense with him, as long as you got a guy that can throw. And Daniel Jones is also, to his credit, a much more mobile quarterback.
Yeah, that's the added dimension that Daniel Jones brings.
Which everyone forgets about, I feel like, with him for some reason. But he's a mobile quarterback. He was in college. He still is. So
unless that blade of grass peeks up again and just knocks him down.
Yeah. I mean, the man running so fast, he ran in front of his feet. I'm like,
but that last helmet I see there is the one that intrigues me. The Raiders picked 6 in the draft. So they're probably not going to get Shadur or Ward up there. Nope. Is he going to be their stopgap for the Raiders? Because they can't.
With Desmond Ridder or Aiden O'Connell. Ooh.
Yeah, so that's intriguing.
Is Sam Darnold a Pete Carroll kind of guy?
I mean, Pete Carroll. You mentioned Geno. Geno went to Pete Carroll in Seattle. So he has that experience of going and bringing that veteran guy who's struggled from the Jets and seen the ghost, right? So, I mean, there's that connection right there of Geno and Sam coming full circle.
Now, with the teams that's up there right now, the Giants, any chance he goes back to New York and to the Giants?
No. None. In my opinion, no way.
No, too many memories there.
Right. So, but again, out of these teams, Titans, Browns, Raiders, if I'm Sam Darnold and I'm choosing, it's the Raiders. If it comes down to these, it's the Raiders.
Yeah.
It's hands down. Ownership, head coach. You got a sense of direction of that organization trying to move in the right direction. Cleveland, you got a mess. Tennessee has no idea of what they want to do. We went a whole football season without knowing their identity. So, again, I don't know, man. If I'm Sam Darnold right now, the Raiders are looking really good. Looking really good to me.
I'm with you, Dolph. I think we talked about Brock Bowers when we were putting the show together today. You got Michael Mayer coming. Jacoby Myers is a very underrated receiver. I really wanted the Bills to sign him when he left New England. And they got the number 6 draft. They can get another playmaker.
Well, and you've got a city that likes to win, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're gonna put money into that team. Like they want to win. They had their hockey team. They come in, all of a sudden they're a championship team, right? Like they expect winning. They don't build this big fancy stadium in the middle of downtown Vegas for nothing. I mean, I've been there. Right. That stadium is absurd.
You got to go to that stadium? That's awesome.
Yeah, I got to go on the field and everything, try to kick field goals, which let me tell you, that is not a future career for me. It is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So for those of you who think you can be
field goal, did you toe it, Jeremy? Or do you actually have soccer form?
No, I mean, I had soccer form. I hooked the hell out of that thing. It wasn't pretty. Maybe someday I'll send you guys the video. It was
I got to see that.
It had the distance. It did not. It definitely tailed, though, but not as easy as y'all think.
No, gosh, no.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on. Number 2 on our list, Russell Wilson. Who do the Steelers select? We talk about 2 and 3 together because they're both on the same team. What do you do if you're Mike Tomlin? Is it Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, 4 and 2 when he started the season for the Steelers? Many thought that he should have remained the quarterback, but hey, when Russell came in, the Steelers took off, went on a winning streak, and toward the end of the season, you had those saying should have kept stuck with Justin. Who do you keep? Who would you feel comfortable in keeping out of these two quarterbacks?
Selfishly, I mean, and this is just me, I would take Justin Fields. I'm still very high on that kid. I love his talent. I think he's still very raw of a quarterback. Russell Wilson, I'll give him this. I was on the Justin Fields train to keep him going the rest of the year when they brought Russell back in to start, and I was wrong, and I'll eat my words on that. But Russell Wilson is also at that point in his career, like he's going to start to decline at some point. I don't know when that is, and you're going to see it at some point, but I think Justin Fields just has so much raw ability still that if they put the intentional focus on him and developing him and getting him a little bit better receiving core, maybe a more solid running back, I think he could really do some amazing things. And I think Russell Wilson, how long you want to pay the guy and how many more years do you think you can get out of him and get the kind of production you're hoping for?
All right.
Yeah, and they should adopt what they did with Lamar, or whoever signs Justin Fields. Just go full on in on his skill set like the Ravens did early with Lamar and lean into make it a running team. Make the passing.
A lot of RPOs.
Yeah, everyone's tried to make Justin something he isn't instead of playing to his strengths. And then Lamar eventually developed into a passer as they kind of threw it at him, but he was able to get comfortable doing what he did in college. And they just need to find he needs to find an organization and offense that is going to let him do that. So I think you're right on the ball there. And you talk about the end of last year, if the passing game is there, at least Fields gives you something that the offense can do if the passing game's not on that day.
Yep.
Because the best quarterbacks in the league have a Sunday or two where it's not there. But that's where the Josh Allens and stuff, they use their legs and everything else.
Yeah, Josh Allen, Lamar's. I mean, hell, even you see, I hate to mention this guy's name in this, but Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can scramble, you can run. Like it changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Yep. And Hurricane Mike thinks the Titans and Fields are a connection there. What do we think about that?
I mean, they need a quarterback and they need somebody that's serviceable in that organization to get them some stability. I mean, Titans are a disaster, but honestly, Russ, not a bad. I mean, it would excite the fan base. I think either of those guys would excite the fan base. I think right now they need that in Tennessee, regardless of who it is. They need to make a quote unquote somewhat splashy signing, I think, because they have done nothing. Will Levis is not working out. I don't know if it's entirely his fault. I don't think he's that great. I didn't love him anyway. I'm still big on the Malik Willis train, and honestly, Tennessee, I think had something there, which Green Bay reaped the benefits of, and we all saw that. He stepped in great when he needed to. But they need to find a way to fix the quarterback situation. I think either of those guys, if they did go and get Russ or Justin Fields, would be a great signing for Tennessee and at least get the fan base excited. Yeah,
Titans fans, right? They bring in Fields. They think of back to their heyday of Vince Young.
Yep.
When he first came in and explosive running plays, and there's another perfect example of run it like that.
Yep.
So moving on we talked about Wilson and Fields, Jameis Winston.
I love Jameis Winston. I love him as a human being. I think if you ever hear him talk, just how he represents himself, how he talks about others, that man is a leader. He's a man among men. I love the guy. I love when they sign him. I love watching him and just be the gunslinger that he is, and he does not shy from it. You know you're going to get 4 touchdowns out of him, but you're going to get 5 interceptions. And you just have to accept that. But he's going to throw for 350 yards, and he'll probably, in most cases, keep you in a game. He's not probably going to win you most games, but he'll keep you in it. I mean, where does he end up? Man, I don't know. I don't think he goes to the Jets. Cleveland, if I'm Cleveland, honestly, I'm probably considering him because here's the thing right now with Cleveland is, and I think we all know this, you're paying Deshaun Watson. You're stuck with Deshaun Watson at this point on that contract unless something changes. So you got to get a quarterback somewhat on the cheap, which means you're either going to have to try to draft somebody, and I don't think they're going to have an option to draft somebody decent, or going to have to bring somebody in that you can get on a reasonable price that can do the job.
Mm-hmm.
And Jameis knows the offense. He's kept them in games. He's also lost them a lot of games, and they do like him in Cleveland. And, man, I just hope we get the option to see him somewhere this season because I love watching him play. I really do. It's just fun. It's always exciting because you don't know if it's going to be a good or a bad throw, but it's something exciting is going to happen. It's a touchdown or a pick six.
Yeah, and I think people joke about him too much. Like you said, he's a leader.
He is.
The players flock to him. They like being around him. So that's an underrated thing about Jameis, and he's been a backup. So I think he's an addition to any quarterback room in the league. Hell, and I would take him in Buffalo as Josh's backup.
Oh, I would love it.
Over Mitch Trubisky any day of the week.
I was hoping we would get Malik Willis or Trey Lance or anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no offense to Mitch Trubisky. If Josh Allen goes down and Mitch has to ever step in, I am not feeling very comfortable about having an option in winning that game.
No. Jameis gives you a chance.
I love Jameis. I love him.
Jameis gives you a chance. He gives you a chance. Feast the famine. That's what you're going to get every week. On the edge of your seat. And like you said, guys, like Jameis Winston as a player in the locker room, all his teammates love him. His personality, his affections, his personality, he has a personality that draws you to him. And I'm so happy now that people are seeing this Jameis Winston, and they were not still seeing the young kid who came out of Florida State, who they didn't let the crab leg stuff go. They kept, this kid has, wherever he's been, he's embodied himself into the community. And I'm telling you right now, in New Orleans, Jameis Winston is more loved and respected than Derek Carr. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Right now. So Wilson, Fields, you guys go gone with Wilson. You will keep Wilson if you're the Steelers.
I would keep Fields. I personally would keep Fields.
Hurricane Mike thinks the Titans should go Winston and Russ and trade Will. Kind of do what the Panthers did a few years ago when they got Baker and Sam, and then just kind of let them battle it out there.
I mean, I could see Will gone. I think they have lost interest in Will trying to run anything on that team right now, which I mean, that's the thing. It could be a failed experiment. I don't know. That team is such a mess. And I think once they let Henry go, I think that was the beginning of the end on that franchise. And they got a long road ahead of them to clean up things, I think, down there.
Then they traded A.J. Brown just to go sign Ridley 2 years later to essentially the same deal.
Is gone. I mean,
there's no direction. It's like they decide, today we're doing this, and the next day it doesn't match up.
Okay.
I mean, Steelers, Mets. Okay.
All right, we got Coach Rocket checking in.
What's up, Coach?
In the chat on his way back from Daddy Duty volleyball tournament.
Coach, I love you, but man, I'm glad we're not talking about the Bills today or the Chiefs. Steelers, Matt Stafford, maybe.
How about?
That would be a splashy move.
Well,
I mean, they're shopping him around.
The Rams gave him permission, him and his agent, to find a deal, shop himself.
What do we think about the Rams doing that? I mean, that I was a little surprised on.
It sounds like it's kind of the relationship is soured a little bit there between Stafford and the Rams, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this to be happening, yes.
I mean, but what the Rams got behind Stafford? I don't even know.
I did read that they I believe the owner wanted to move. And don't quote me on this, guys, but I'm pretty sure I did read where the owner is wanting a more mobile quarterback. So, again, it's kind of, the NFL is a copycat league. The trend now is a mobile quarterback, able to use their legs, get outside the pocket, keep plays alive, ad-lib. You got to do. You're right. You do.
You got to. You need to have that ability to, if you get flushed, to make a play still.
Now, if Matthew Stafford does wind up with Pittsburgh, that'll be another Hall of Fame quarterback they got.
They're scary.
They're scary. Well, they need
but they still need
a number one receiver.
There's still a lot to fix in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The quarterback situation in Pittsburgh right now is not the biggest problem they have. It's going to be a problem because they're going to figure out what to do with these guys, but it's not the biggest problem I think they have.
Mozzie. Nephew, Mozzie, how you doing? Man, stop it, bro. Mozzie, nephew, until Lamar wins a meaningful playoff game, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear nothing about Lamar until he wins a meaningful playoff game. That's a divisional game to get to the AFC Championship game, and that's an AFC Championship game to get to the Super Bowl. Until then, I don't care nothing about his regular season. I don't care nothing about his awards. He's great. But guess what? He ain't great enough to get you to the bowl. He ain't great enough to get past Josh Allen, get past Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. He ain't good enough right now. He ain't been big enough. He ain't been good enough at the most key moments. Until he does that, bro, right now, because of his performance this year, because they lost this year, and they went out and got Derrick Henry. Now that kind of makes me like who was it? Was it Carlos? Was talking about the coaching with John Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
You go out, you get Derrick Henry specifically for the playoffs, and you don't ride him, you don't use him. I have no idea what that was about. Right now, man, y'all got a coaching problem. Y'all got a coaching problem, philosophy problem, and it might be with the head man, because as the head man, there's no way I'm not going to go to my offensive coordinator and say, get the ball to Derrick Henry. There's no way. That's what we got him for. But,
and Dolph was talking about us and the Browns. Look at him bringing the fire to the Ravens and Harbaugh and Lamar.
For real.
Dolph with the fire today.
I mean, but in all fairness, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No, he's not. I didn't love it.
I mean, what team wouldn't want Derrick Henry and be like, I'm going to run the ball 25 times a game. I'm going to run it down your throat till I can't make it work. And then I'm still going to run. I'm just going to run it with Lamar at that point. Like, you just, man.
The Ravens beat the Bills if they run it like that.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I was so happy they passed a lot.
Every team that way.
Yeah.
Look at what Saquon did this year for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's
always been coaching. Lamar did his job. No, bro. He didn't do his job. He did not do his job. He did not do his job. If he had did his job, y'all would have been in New Orleans. Y'all been in New Orleans a week ago. He didn't do his job, Mozzie. Lamar, listen, I love Lamar. His last name Jackson, so I love Lamar. Damn it. That's why I'm frustrated too, because he keep letting me down. Damn it, his last name Jackson. We got to get this shit right. But anyway, man, listen. He has hold on, excuse me. He has things he has to overcome. Go ahead, guys, take over.
I mean, I'm looking at the watch list. I'm just looking at some of these names, and then, like, obviously we talked about Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, weird situation, Aaron Rodgers, like your man Derek Carr down there, Dolph, like, woo. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, what do you think, Lauren? Does somebody take Aaron Rodgers? I think he still wants to play. Is somebody, I mean, I've got it. I can't believe I'm saying this. Somebody's going to grab him, right? Like, there's not a universe. If Aaron Rodgers wants to come back, somebody doesn't get him, right? Like he can still play.
Like you said, with a team that needs a headline, like they might need a splash, just like when the Bills signed Owens that year. Like, Bills fans needed something to get excited about, and Owens did it. So some franchise can take Aaron Rodgers and point to his stats, which weren't terrible if you just look at the statistics.
That's the thing. Everybody rides him saying, like, oh, the Jets were trash. They were so bad. Like, but if you look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers, they weren't actually that bad, and they were better than most starting quarterbacks in the league still. Mm-hmm. It's just the Jets were terrible. It's not entirely him, but they are expected to win with that type of team, right? Like, Kirk Cousins is just so damn expensive. Could see Rodgers going to Denver to be backup. I mean, man, if I'm Denver and that's an option on the table, I would love to have him. When you got a quarterback like Bo Nix right now, and you could put Aaron Rodgers on the bench with him to help mentor him, man, assuming Aaron Rodgers is okay with that. Derek Carr gets traded.
Coach, with all the trades going, he's got the
coach,
Steelers and Carr,
that's not a bad trade. No. If you're the Giants and you could get Carr, I mean, he's a good fit for a quarterback in that offense with a guy like Neighbors, I feel like Darius Slayton. Like, you've got some receivers that can play. Carr wouldn't be a bad fit there.
No.
Coach always coming with
and
something.
depending on what you have to give up, you could still keep your first. That'd be ideal. So now we got our running backs. Our top running back on the board, Aaron Jones, who took kind of like a prove-it deal with the Vikings this year. And what do you think, Jeremy? Do you think he actually proved that he's still capable of being the guy?
I think he did. I think the hardest thing for him was prior to where he was, is being able to get the time to be on the field to really show what he could do. As far as the best fits go, oh man, all these teams, like the Patriots, are still like, I like Stevenson. I just don't think he's the good fit there. I think, honestly, looking at these teams, if he doesn't stay with Minnesota, he ends up in Vegas. Vegas needs another running back. They got to fix that problem. And I think looking at this, that's the place where I could see him most likely filling in and going. If it was one of those teams, I think that's going to be honestly, I think that would be his best opportunity outside of staying with Minnesota to really have an opportunity to continue to shine.
Yep, and it'd kind of be funny because Madison last year, right, went to the Raiders, so just that Viking pipeline of going there, and it's indoors Madison, again, which helps him.
Yeah, and he didn't do what he needed, but that team was also on the struggle bus big time outside of Brock Bowers.
And for Cowboys fans, like talking about last year, they did nothing after Jones said they were going to go all in, right? They like the veteran guys, like they brought Zeke back for some reason when he's been
terrible.
So, and Spencer Dwittle's a free agent this year, so they have a need at running back.
They need to play Trey Lance. That's all I'm gonna say about the Cowboys.
And then Hurricane Mike thinks Aaron Jones to Washington.
I don't hate that thought. I'm not one of those guys that's on the B-Rob train. I don't love him as a running back. I don't love him in that offense necessarily. I think you need to find somebody better than B-Rob for Washington, because here's the thing. Jaden Daniels, the guy, we've talked about him a million times. Great running quarterback, great quarterback in general. He's got a bright future. But you also don't want your quarterback to be your leading rusher if you can avoid it. Like, that's not their job. You don't want them running that much. So, and Robinson just didn't really do enough for me to feel like he's a great fit there. So, honestly, if he went to Washington, which I know is not on our board, I don't think that's the craziest thing, and I don't hate it.
Well, it's funny. Dolph and I talked about that building at, like, would the Commanders be in the market for a running back? So, like, it's funny that you brought that up, and we talked about the same thing.
I mean, it wouldn't be wild to see. And honestly, it's not a bad idea for them to kind of just see what's out there.
But I also agree with Eckler, though. What do you do with Austin Eckler?
I think Eckler is.
I don't know why he doesn't play more. Honestly, I love Eckler. I loved him with the Chargers when he was the lead back. He killed it, and then they turned him into a third down receiving back. And even when he's had the opportunity to actually run the ball there, he's been pretty good. I mean, I still like Eckler a lot. I always have.
The Jones and Eckler seem to be more of a similar mold than B-Rob and Eckler. And to me, like, if you can get Aaron Jones there to pair with Eckler, like you're not losing anything no matter who's going out, who needs a breather. They're going to be the same running back.
Well, and you've got a bruiser in Jones, and B-Rob is just not that guy. He's just not built that way.
Gotcha. All right, so let's move on now. The best of the rest. Here we go. Number 2 on the board, Najee Harris of the Steelers. Me personally, I think Najee's best fit is back with Pittsburgh. I love the combination of him and Taiwan. I think that's a good 1-2 combination. Could I see Najee with the Patriots? I can. I could see him with Drake May, a young Drake May. I think they need a tight end and a number 1 receiver. But hey, what is the cap situation right now for the Patriots? Is what they're
the best.
They're most money in the league.
$125 million in space.
And now you got a respected head coach now, a head coach that's respected.
who had Derrick Henry.
Yes. So who will use you right?
Mm-hmm.
Who will use you? So I'm thinking, as you see here, Patriots, Steelers, the Chargers need a running back. They need to identify. They need that bell cow running back.
I mean, you don't think Dobbins is it?
Pair him with Dobbins. I'll pair him with Dobbins.
But here's the thing with Dobbins. I loved him when he got drafted. As much as I'm not a Ravens fan because I'm a Bills fan, I loved him when he was there. I still love the guy. I think he's incredibly talented. The biggest problem, and we all know this, is his health. Like, how long are you going to get out of J.K. Dobbins? Like, he was relatively healthy this year, but he still missed, 4 or 5 games towards the end, and then they brought him back in the playoffs. I mean, he's a great running back when he's healthy, but he's not going to be your long-term answer. Gus Edwards, I've never liked. I don't think he's a great fit in the Chargers. They use him very sparingly as it is.
Yeah, so he played in 13 games. Yeah, so he missed a handful of games again.
Najee, let's see.
Yeah, Najee Harris.
Najee on the season.
Stays with the Steelers, I think.
Yeah.
I
think he does too.
I don't love him with the Steelers. I think he's good. I don't know. I've never seen that like consistency out of him. I want to see for a good running back in that team. But he's still talented. I mean, he was talented coming out of college. He's still got a lot of wheels left on him and a lot of tread on the tires.
I think Najee's the classic case of like he doesn't get a chance to. He's the old school. I'm going to be better in the second half and fourth quarter.
Yep.
They don't because they share the load so much. He doesn't get that chance, and that's just how he's the best. Yeah.
Right. Doesn't get that chance to get into their rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, Najee is 1,000-yard rusher this season, despite sharing the backfield. 263 carries, 1,043 yards, 6 touchdowns. He averaged 4 yards a carry, and he had 36 receptions for 283 yards out of the backfield. Averaged just under 8 yards per reception. So Najee Harris is he's versatile. He's an all-around back. He's a good back, but
he's never in those conversations. He's not that explosive back. He will get you the consistency at times, but he's just not that guy that's going to be the game changer. But he'll get you the 3-4 yards you need every time.
Yeah, and he's at 1,000 every single year he's been in the league.
But no one ever thinks of him or talks about him, which is the funny part.
And he's still young, just 26. Just 26 years old.
So I think the Patriots and Najee would be a great fit with Mike Vrabel.
Coach has a question, guys. What you guys think about Hunt? Do you think he could help some team out? Which team would it be? Coach, you talking about Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could help a team out. I think he's still a decent running back. I mean, honestly, I think he was better than Pacheco. I don't know why the Chiefs didn't play Hunt over Pacheco more, truthfully. And when Pacheco was hurt and you saw Hunt playing, you could see that he was the better running back. I mean, but the Chiefs don't build their game plans around running. They never have. They just want to throw, 35, 40 times and throw it to Kelsey if they can. Miami, it's not a bad pick. I mean, Mostert and you got A-Chain, but I don't know.
Yeah, they good. I mean, Mostert's a free agent. I think they cut him. They let him go.
I think they'll let him go.
So, I mean, Najee and A-Chain.
That's your bruiser.
Listen, that's not a dangerous duo. That's not a bad idea. That's a good one. That's a good one, Mike. That is a real good one there. Kareem Hunt to Miami.
Then Javonte, Dolph, that's the one that you have seen have a little soft spot for. Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I mean, the kid is talented, man, but it's just like we were saying. It's injuries, man. That's it.
Yep.
That was continues to slow him down. You see when this kid gets an opportunity to run the ball and gets into a rhythm, and he can be – I think the kid has the ability to be one of the top backs in the league, but I just think his injuries right now. We're being robbed of a lot of these kids showing us their full potential and their full talent by something that's totally out of their control, and it just happens sometimes. Injuries will rob a player of their career and slow them down. I mean, and Javonte Williams is a good example of that. I mean, the kid can do it all. I mean, that's my thoughts on it. But Lawrence, like we were talking earlier, man, I really like this kid, man. And I tell you what, I like to see him on my team. I definitely take him as a backup to Alvin on my team. I'll tell you that.
They got a good running back room, honestly. If you look at the Broncos, like they've got a good team. I mean, they got good running backs. They've got their quarterback of the future. I think we can probably say that at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
But like, man, if he can stay on the field, and even when he's not on the field, they still got guys behind him. So if I'm him, it's not a place I wouldn't mind being, is staying in Denver. Because here's the thing too. It's really, could he do well in Carolina? Carolina right now, not a bad fit. Here's the thing with Carolina. You got Jonathan Brooks, who unfortunately, Dolph, like you just said, crazy amount of talent. Everybody's wanting to see
from Texas,
and he's out again. Like, this guy can't catch a break. And you got Hubbard, like, he's good, but he's also hurt. So, like, what do you do right now with Carolina, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad fit. Jonathan Brooks, though, man, that's another kid. Like, talking about those injuries, that is somebody, if he's finally healthy and can play, man, that kid was fire coming in. I was so excited to see him.
And they signed Chuba to an extension in November, so if Brooks can get back healthy and Chuba, there's your 1-2 already there.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's big if.
So Broncos for life, welcome in.
Broncos for life, how you doing? Come on in. All right. Now, let's look at the watch list. Raheem Mostert, Ty Worm, Nick Chubb, Rico
Dowdle. I don't know any of these names, honestly. Other than outside of Chubb.
Dowdle had a 1,000-yard season for the Cowboys this year.
But it doesn't feel like it. Probably because the Cowboys are so bad that no one noticed. Let's be real. I mean, there was nothing to pay attention to by halfway through the season with that team.
You don't like Ty Worm?
All right.
From the Steelers?
I mean, I think he's actually, truthfully, I think he's the better running back. True running back, I think he's actually the better running back of the two, in my opinion. Gotcha. I do like that combo, though. Like, that's the thing. I look at
that's what I'm saying. I like that run. And listen, if like Coach said, if they swing a trade to get Matthew Stafford,
woo-wee.
All right. Now
you go get a receiver or two? That's a dangerous team.
Get you a true number one receiver to go with Pickens.
I mean, you got a decent tight end. You got Freiermuth. Like,
I like Freiermuth. I like him.
I do too. He's a bruiser of a tight end.
I like him, and he's the type of tight end you don't have to take off the field.
Yeah, I don't think Mostert to the Jets. Nope. I think they're happy right now with Hall, and I think they like what's that kid, Braylon Allen.
Yeah, they had a good one too.
Yeah,
and they're young.
I think the Jets are probably set at the running back position, at least in my opinion, right now.
J.K. Dobbins re-signed with the Chargers, or Bengals, Vikings, or Patriots.
Chargers, I think. If I'm the Chargers, I'm re-signing him after what I saw. Yeah. You just need to keep him healthy. I would get rid of Gus Edwards. I would find a better backup running back besides Gus. Yeah. I know that was their thing in Baltimore. It's not Baltimore. And I love the fact that Harbaugh brothers just want to give running backs to each other. That's very kind of them. But sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Hey. Am I my brother's keeper? So hey, I'm just saying. So really, I mean, a Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, like we said, that would be a nice pairing.
Ooh, for CMC and J.K. I mean, the problem is you got two running backs that can't really stay healthy. So, like, at some point you might really be in trouble there.
And the Niners, I think, this year proved they can pretty much plug anybody into that system.
Yeah.
Every running back they put in was putting up numbers.
I mean, Isaac Rodero, when he went nuts.
It's like, do they want to spend resources,
Yeah.
I mean, Dobbins to back up CMC.
I'm just worried about the health of both those guys at that point. That's the concern I have.
Yeah. But like Lauren said, they already have a nice running back.
True. And honestly, you could probably get Dobbins for a decent price because of his injury history. Like, you're going to get him probably at a discount. He had a good season, but he still missed games.
Yeah. Let me see. What kind of numbers? Look up these 49ers running back run right quick.
Mostert, I like. I was surprised to see the Dolphins abandon the run game. I felt like a lot this year, very early on, in that they literally just immediately went to A-chain. And after the season Mostert had last year, basically we're just like, yeah, we'll put you in when we can get around you. That to me, I feel like for the Dolphins, and granted, I'm happy to see the Dolphins lose, obviously, right? But
yes,
I think for me, that is one of the missteps the Dolphins had this year is that they basically just abandoned Mostert, who did everything for them last year as far as a running back, and went to A-Chain and just – I think that was a huge misstep. I think they should have leaned on Mostert more than they did this year.
yeah, because A-Chain's going to break down eventually.
Mm-hmm. And he's good, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't like blow anybody out of the water. But again, that team had a whole lot of problems. And now you look at Tyreek Hill and that whole situation.
So, Dolph, you look at the running for the Niners. Mason averaged 5.2 a carry on 153 carries. Guerrero averaged 5 on 84.
That's crazy.
Patrick Taylor averaged 4.7 on 39.
When you're getting 4.5 yards out of these guys every play. That is wild.
But look at the carries though. He only was Guerrero. The kid started 3 games, 84 carries, 420 yards, 4 touchdowns, 15 receptions. Nuts. 15 receptions that go along for 152 yards and average 5 yards a carry.
And that's a kid that never even really played. That they had. They ended up plugging him in, and they were like, we need you to basically run the entire game, which you've never done, and you've only played a few snaps here and there, and they threw him into the fire, and he still went off in that offense.
Well, it's like that's the Shanahan's, his dad and him. It doesn't matter who the running back is.
Nope.
You remember that year, like when the Broncos after TD, running back, like Olandis, Gary, Anderson, like year after year, just a new 1,000-yard rusher, no matter who it was, plugging in and playing him.
Ooh, Anderson.
And what is Mitchell? And Mitchell, let's see what Mitchell did for the Niners. Where is he at?
I think he was hurt a lot of the year.
Yeah.
But a name that's not on our list that we took off, but I wanted to talk about is Ty Johnson as a free agent.
Yeah.
And as Jeremy can attest, he's he is a great third down back, really good at blitz pickup. And he can play 10 to 15 plays a game and make an impact. That's a type of after the first wave of free agency type thing that's a signing that goes under the radar, but can really affect the team's bottom line.
Yeah, and just to go off what you guys were saying about the Niners, here's Patrick Taylor. I just said Patrick Taylor. Many of you have no idea who the young man is, but Patrick Taylor started 1 game, had 39 carries for 183 yards, 1 touchdown. He averaged 4.7 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, it really doesn't matter who they put back there. They seem to have success. So that's a system thing.
That's it. I'm going to the Niners. Here we go. Let's go.
That's a system thing right there. If you're a running back, you might want to consider going on the West Coast. I'm just
right, Mike. I want Ty Johnson to stay in Buffalo.
I mean, me too. I mean, I would love to keep him. I mean, if he went to the Bengals, I think he'd be a good fit there, especially with Joe Burrow. But I would like to keep him in Buffalo if we can.
Mm-hmm.
I like our running back room right now. I like Cook.
Yes.
I think Ray Davis is a star in the making.
That's what I was about that. I like that kid for you guys.
That kid has so much talent. I mean, he went under the radar because he played at Kentucky. So obviously not your typical big football school. But, man, did they find a diamond in the rough with Ray Davis. I love the way he ran in college. He's a big guy. He's fast. And he's just a smart running back. And you would see it throughout the season. And Ty Johnson, I mean, he's coming clutch for us this year for sure.
No, there's something you guys said about Ty Johnson that separates a lot of backs from playing time in the National Football League, and that's being able to pick up the blitz.
Yep.
Blocking. Mark Ingram arguably was one of the best blocking running backs I ever saw in the National Football League.
Oh, for the Saints? My God, yes.
Mark Ingram was one of the best blocking running backs. Sometimes teams can tell you what they're gonna do. I mean, if you know a guy sucks at blocking, you know when he comes in the game, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna run the ball. I mean, sometimes you just gives yourself away. But like you guys said, man, I like the running back room also. He can. Wasn't that what we were talking today, Lauren? That was him who caught that sliding
catch.
down.
No,
yeah, in the end zone, that was a great catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and most running backs are not making that catch. Like that's
that was
most receivers ain't making that catch.
that was
Most
an
receivers-
all-timer for the Bills.
yeah, that was pretty filthy. Mark Ingram, oh man, when he was in his prime, woo, that man was
blocked.
beast in New Orleans.
Yeah, man, the good old days. All right,
Those days are coming, Dolph.
Hey man, I'm gonna ride. I've been through a storm before. I'm gonna stay there. I'm going through this one too. Go come out the other side. You better be ready when we come out the other side, baby. That's all I'm gonna tell you. All right. So Ty Warren, Nick Chubb, man. Again, injuries.
Yep.
Just
Great running back when he's healthy.
great running back. Just has robbed this kid. I mean, 1 year you come back from an ACL, then you come back, you do it again. Man, you can't help but like, he's human, man. You can't help but think about, man, is it even in the cards for me?
I think he just needs to be out of Cleveland. I think it's a Cleveland thing. Like it is the Cleveland bad luck that exists in that organization. I'm sorry, Cleveland fans, if you're on here, you all just have the worst luck. Like just every which way possible, whether it's a contract or health or whatever it is, it just never seems to go your way. Even in the days, I think, man, you look good on paper, and then 3 weeks in the season, everything goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's keep it moving on. So there's our free agent running back list. Now we go to a list that, quite frankly, is not. This list here, it took me and learned some time to even put it together. We were scratching our head. We were crossing T's, dotting I's, erasing, and so this is what we came up with. Mike Gesicki. Now, Mike Gesicki, I've liked Mike Gesicki since he was with the Dolphins. Had a couple injury riddled season, but this past season with Cincinnati, I think he gave them that third option as that tight end that Joe Burrow can count on. This past season, now he had, I believe, learned 63 receptions.
Yeah, he was
not
that
mistaken.
third guy.
Yeah, he was their guy, man, and hit the best fit for Mike Gesicki once again, New Orleans. Because right now the Saints do not have a starting tight end. Jawan Johnson is a free agent. He was the starting tight end. Kansas City, with the uncertainty of whether Kelsey's going to retire or come back, and then Kelsey's play, I mean, it's kind of been going in the opposite direction. And the coach, Ali Cox, is a free agent for the coach, so the coach can use a tight end. So, what's your thoughts on these fits and Mike Gesicki in general, Lawrence?
Like you said, like I'm not going to use the word like because he was a Dolphin, so I didn't like him at all. But in terms of a football sense, yes, he's a weapon when used. And then when Mike McDaniels came to Miami, it's like all of a sudden he couldn't catch a ball. He couldn't get open. It was really weird. And then he went to New England and kind of the same thing. And then he decided, all right, I'm going to go to a quarterback. And then Burrow helped him revive his career. And it's like you said, Dolph, earlier, like it seemed like McDaniels had a vendetta for Gesicki. He's like, why are you not using this guy who just had 70 catches, 800 yards a year before? And all of a sudden he's down to like 300. It made no sense.
None at all. Jeremy, your thoughts on Mike Gesicki and best fits?
Huge fan. He should stay. He should stay right now in Cincy. I think he thinks he's valued more than he is. So I don't think he's going to stay in Cincy. He's going to look for the money. I think the best fit for him though is to stay in Cincy. I think outside of that, looking at the roster, and I know we got Casey on there because we kind of had a conversation on that earlier today about a possibility and kind of what that looks like. I think other than that, if he doesn't stay there, he goes to the Colts. That would be the other place I would want to be if I was him. I mean, that's an up-and-coming team that's got a ton of talent around it too. But, man, the Bengals are just whew.
With him, Chase, Higgins.
That is a dangerous team.
They just need a running back in the defense.
You don't like Chase? Yeah.
Other than Trey.
And then also not to start the year like garbage every year, losing to New England week 1.
There's that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that team, if that team didn't end up the way they did, that is the team in the playoffs that I 100% would not have wanted to face.
Nope.
To the Broncos?
Nah, I don't see. I don't see Mike Gesicki being a Sean Payton type. I'm gonna see it. That's not. Mike also said Nick Chubb is great, but that injury, I think he could go to Arizona. Right now, Nick Chubb is a number 2 back.
Mm-hmm.
He's the complementary to the starter. He's a complementary piece. When healthy though, listen, we know what he can do. Nick Chubb is a beast now. Again, it's just injuries have robbed us of this young man's talents. But that's Arizona, him and Connor. Oh man. That's one of the most underrated backs in the National Football League.
Yeah,
James Conner is he's a dog, man. I love to watch that kid play, man. I love to watch him play. All right, Juwan Johnson, Bengals. I can see him fitting in. If Mike Gesicki lead, I can see Juwan Johnson possibly fitting in with the Bengals, the Rams, and I think these are 3 good fits for him. Personally,
yeah.
I think I think Joe Burrow. I think he fits well with that offense, with McVay's offense. I think him and Tyler Higbee will be a good 1-2 punch. Tyler Higbee is the better all-around tight end. Of course, Juwan Johnson is a converted wide receiver into a tight end. And with the Chargers right now, the Chargers need a tight end. Yeah, got you, Mike. Yeah, to the Chargers. I think him going there working with Justin Herbert. The thing is, we know for sure right now you got two starting caliber, above average quarterbacks. We just don't know what I would say 3, but we don't know what the hell is going on with the Rams and Matthew Stafford. We don't know if he's going to be there or not. But offensive wise, scheme wise, as a fit, I think Juwan Johnson will fit well with any one of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hurricane Mike had talked about the Broncos a second ago. Zach Ertz we have as an option there. He's more, like you said, of a fit, I think, for what Sean Payton wants to do there, Dolph.
Zach Ertz?
Yeah.
And we got I know a lot of you were shocked to see we got the lines on there. That's right. We got the line. Wow, Lawrence, why would we have the lines on there?
Well, I think Laporta kind of had a down second year, right? You remember that first year he exploded on the scene? I don't remember hearing that much about Sam in year 2. So, and they need somebody else to help open the middle of the field, and Zach Ertz is that guy. He's a veteran presence. He knows what he's doing. He's a winning player. And it's kind of the same thing as why we had the Falcons there. Just maybe the young guy needs a little veteran there to help boost him along. Like Kyle Pitts, who is supposed to be the next coming, right? What has he done as a tight end?
Still waiting for that.
Yeah, the 2 teams there, Falcons and Lions, might surprise some people. Like, I know those names as the tight ends. They don't need anybody. Well, sometimes a name doesn't mean that there's production there to back it up.
Well, why not have 2 good tight ends? You got Bowers, and look, I know he didn't play a lot, but Michael Mayer, right? I'm still high on him. I mean, he was great coming out of college. I think he's still an incredibly talented tight end. Is it a bad thing to have 2 good tight ends, right? Like that you can – I mean, look at the Patriots. You had Gronk and you had Hernandez. Like, it works in the right system if you've got the right guys where you can make it work and you can really – penalize teams for trying to cover 2 tight ends in those certain sets when you need to.
Yep. Hurricane Mike thinks Ertz to the Jets.
Well, I'm struggling with who the Jets even have right now.
Who's the quarterback?
Conklin was the one who's leaving, who's a free agent. But who's there? Like right now, it's Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod's a good backup quarterback.
He is.
He's a good.
I like him.
Yeah, I like him.
I still like him.
Now, Kyle Pitts this past season, 15 games started, 47 receptions, 602 yards, just under 13 yards of reception, and 4 touchdowns for his career with the Falcons. 196 receptions, 2,651 yards, averaging 13 yards of reception and 10 touchdowns. Not necessarily a bust. Now, nowhere close to a bust, But I think Kyle Pitts is suffering from that term that everybody likes to use, a generational talent. So people put unnecessary and unwarranted expectations on this young man. He has not been a failure with the Falcons. He even had a 1,000-yard season his rookie in 2021. A down season in 2022. He went for 667 in 2023, and again 602 this past year.
But in all fairness, his quarterback situation has been less than by far.
Yes. So maybe a change of scenery will be good for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. I think he's still incredibly talented. I think he's not in the right system for what you would expect out of him. And I think he does need to find a new home at some point. It's not because he's not good. And I think he could be good with Penix is the quarterback once he gets more used to each other. But I think right now, I agree. I think a change of scenery would not be the worst thing in the world for him. And if I'm the Falcons, maybe consider shopping him around.
Good, coach. Let him go.
I think the problem with like the view of Kyle Pitts is like when the ball's thrown to him and it's not caught very much.
Yeah.
Like they threw to him in this past year, it was under 42% of the time the pass was completed when it was thrown. Like, and just that's not what you expect when you draft somebody where you drafted, especially a tight end. You just don't take tight ends really that high. Like what Brock Bowers did this year is what everyone thought Kyle Pitts was going to come in and do.
Yeah, and that
Brock
is so
Bowers.
good.
And Brock Bowers, who did he have him throwing the ball this year?
Everybody.
Everybody.
and he was putting up numbers.
O'Connell, I think River at one point. Like
no matter who it was.
Yeah. No, that's the one time that term was used correctly. Generational talent. Because Brock Bowers is that dude, man.
100% agree with that.
He is that dude. That kid is. Listen,
he's unbelievable.
If he stays healthy, that's the
he's
big
going to break a lot of records.
He already broke Mike Dickens' record. He broke for most catches by a rookie tight end. Listen, the kid's just special, man. And the rating now, you get a stable head coach in there. You get Pete Carroll in there. Listen, what one thing Pete Carroll's going to do, he's going to get in that locker room and he's going to get rid of those who don't buy in.
100%.
He's going to clear those out who don't fit, don't want to fit. He's going to get them out. In other words, he's going to get those bad apples out. Y'all know the old saying.
He's going to fix my favorite term, Dolph. He's going to fix the culture in the locker room.
There
you know I'm all about the culture.
There you go. Got to fix the culture.
And we talked about that on one of our shows on the pregame Sunday of his first year in Seattle. They set an NFL record for transactions within a season. Because like you said, he's going to find the people who want to be there and who fit what he wants to do, and he doesn't care who you are.
And honestly, here's the other thing. He's going to attract talent. I mean, you know what you're getting with Pete Carroll as your coach. You're going to go to a city that wants to win, right? Like Vegas is going to spend money. They want to win. They expect winning there. Like they are going to bring talent into there, and he's going to clean up. And honestly, if I'm Max Crosby right now, I'm actually really excited about all this because you look the next couple of years, like that team is going to completely transform, and they are going to turn that team into a winning organization again. I'm surely confident of that.
Right. All right, guys, we go move on, and here we go. The man of the hour. Listen, Joe Burrow has came on and say, "Pay this man."
I don't
care what we got. Pay this man. Pay him. Pay Chase, and play my guy on the side. The DN.
Starts with Hendrickson.
Yeah, Hendrickson. Yeah, play Hendricks. Trey Hendrickson, my guy. Pay Trey Hendrickson, man. You got to keep the band together. And
let Hendrickson go. Sign T. If I'm the Bengals, that's what I'm doing. 100 times over, no question.
I mean, they're talking about franchise tagging them until they can get a deal done. But the franchise tag will actually cost them more than getting the deal done. The franchise tag was $26 million.
But his is 20% higher because they franchised him before.
Yeah. That's right, because they tagged him last year.
Yeah, so $26 million deal franchise tag that they'll be looking at. Now, some fits. Mozzie, I know you still here, nephew. There you go. T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, King Henry, Lamar Jackson. No damn excuses if that happens.
There'll be not a single excuse for him anymore. Well, there shouldn't be anyway. His
No
team is
excuses.
loaded with talent.
No excuses. If you guys, because I actually think that he'll be that bona fide receiver, he'll be that big physical, fast receiver to go with Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Raven Nation. Y'all crazy hell. Mark Andrews is still a hell of a tight end.
100%.
A hell of a player.
And we talked about 2 tight ends earlier. They got Likely.
And Likely.
Really good tight end there too.
Yeah, so don't get caught up in the moment, man. You shouldn't even been in that position for him to have dropped that ball. How about that?
Mozzie
doesn't think so, though.
Doesn't everybody?
Oh, you want Myles Garrett?
Everybody wants Myles Garrett. Let's be real.
Cleveland's not trading Myles Garrett, man.
No, they're not. There is no. Now we're digressing, but whatever. There is no reason for Cleveland in any universe to trade Myles Garrett from a financial standpoint, unless they get literally the greatest return ever, which not necessarily out of the cards, but Myles Garrett's not leaving Cleveland unless it is for a king's ransom.
Coach, I was just about ready to talk about Washington with T. Scary Terry along with T. Higgins.
Man.
Oh, that's something right there.
That's nice right there.
Buffalo needs him because we need a true number one. We don't have one. And I love Shakir, but Shakir's a slot player. We need somebody on the edge.
That's what I was thinking about was putting this list together. A true number one in Buffalo. He would definitely be that. And listen, and also, if he goes to the Commanders, my God, that's a nice one too. And then they signed J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
I mean, the Commanders are looking like a real scary team, but that kid
Dallas is lower.
Yeah, that kid in Washington right now has a lot of players looking at the Commanders.
I mean, that's the exciting thing for the Commanders is you've really changed that whole team right now, and you've got a lot of excitement in that organization, and you've got a lot of players that are like, yeah, that seeing what Daniels did and where they've already gotten to, like to make that team that next step better, like, whew.
Right. Mine says, I love Shaquille too, Jeremy, because he's Tongan.
All right, Shakir is a special kid.
We love
the only
Shakir
downfall on him, the only knock is he's a slot receiver. That's the only thing you can give him. I mean, the kid's got glue for hands. He was great at Boise State. He's going to keep being great. He's not an outside player.
And his contact balance is insane. Like the first person never brings him down.
Right, but you need good slot players in today's NFL.
100%.
If you have a great to good, really good slot receiver to go with a bona fide number one, it's a lot you can do in that offense. So let's look at the other available wide receivers. Here's the number 2 guy on the list, Chris Godwin. When healthy, arguably one of the best slot receivers in the National Football League. Chris Godwin. And look,
would not be sad if we got him.
Yeah, Chris Godwin, I think he'll be a good fit. Broncos, Chargers, Rams. Hey man, just stay home. But what do the Bucs want to do? Because of the last 2 years of his injury history, do the Bucs kind of want to move in a different direction? You still got the Hall of Famer Mike Evans. Listen, Mike Evans, as soon as he walks off the field, they should walk right into a yellow jacket straight to camp.
If he's not unanimous, then
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
The saddest thing ever because that man is unbelievable. I love the fact. I was so worried at the end of the season. Mike Evans was not going to get that. And I love how they literally at the last second of the season managed to give him the catch so he could get it because that guy is unbelievable.
Yes, just 1,000 yards every single season since he's been in the league.
And not only that, look at the team you're on. Like, you had, I love Fitz and some of those guys, but like you had not the best quarterback situation.
No,
you had like Corey Rice. I mean, man, you could
had the gunslinger Jameis. Jameis was slinging to him all day, baby.
Jameis, Josh McCown was there for a year throwing to him. My goodness.
Just wild.
Man.
wild. I do love Godwin, though. I would not be sad about that if I'm the Rams, knowing that you're getting Cooper Kupp out of there.
Yes.
Like, man, that is not a bad pickup either.
And then Godwin to the Chargers, like, God, they need someone besides McConkey who can actually catch a pass.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You like Lad McConkey, though.
He's awesome.
That kid is nice, man. He's nice.
Quentin Johnson he just gets the drops at the worst inopportune times for his team.
I think he's going to be good. He's just, man, he's so inconsistent still.
Consistently inconsistent. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's consistently inconsistent. All right, Stephon Diggs. I knew you guys were gonna do that. He
didn't hurt the drama, but damn, is he talented when he's healthy. Like I will give him that always. He's got drama all over him, but that kid can play. Like, man, where does he go? Whew, put him down in Tampa. Whew, Baker Mayfield.
Yep. I would love to see that.
What about him? What about him in Dallas with CD Lamb?
And him his brother.
And honestly,
him
and CD Dallas well with the drama. That would fit right in with Dallas.
Then he gets to play with his brother.
That's also true, and that has got to be an attractive part of it as well.
Hey, like me and Lawrence was talking, they've been talking about playing together. This is the opportunity.
Even when he was on the Bills, his brother was trying to talk him into coming to Buffalo.
I know. I'm sad.
Dallas definitely needs a number 2 receiver. Bad.
Yeah. Amari Cooper. I love him. I still love Amari Cooper.
We just missed. I can't believe how little we used him.
That's what I was about to say. Why?
I don't get it.
Why
I don't get it.
I have no idea.
I think we all feel a certain kind of way about that one, honestly. Like, that's still just weird.
I could see Coop I could see him going to Chiefs.
Oh,
I can see him going to the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's that type of player, right? He's better than Hopkins. I think Hopkins on the downside of his career. That's why I got Hop. I don't even have D Hop on my list here. I think D Hop's on the downward side of his career, man.
But all those teams that are winners, right? Look at their quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, and like we already talked about, like if they keep Stafford,
yes,
like all 4. And Cooper has said, like when he got traded to Buffalo, he really he saw the difference of the winning culture, and I think he's going to be like, all right, I made my money. Now it's time to go to a team that's going to give me a chance to win.
Exactly. Then on the watch list, you got Keenan Allen, who had a really good first year in Chicago, despite rookie quarterback that I think in a system that really didn't take full advantage of his talents. You got Hollywood Brown, Darius Slayton, whose name just continues to pop up each and every season.
I like him.
Giants. I think Slayton's a good player. I like him too. And the big name to drop, we know that the Jets and Aaron Rodgers will be parting ways, and it's being speculated also that Devontae Adams will be right behind him. So once he becomes an official free agent, does Devontae Adams go to the head of this list for best available wide receivers, or is it still T. Higgins?
Still T. Higgins.
Yeah, but he would be a second, I would think.
I think he's the clear number 2 at that point. But T. Higgins, there's by far and away the best out there. 100%.
Gotcha.
The only downfall for him is the cost.
That's the hardest
part. Yeah. What's it? Yeah, that kind. Who's going to eat that money? Hey, what about him going to Vegas?
Yep. They could use another guy.
Back to Vegas? Has that ship sailed?
No, it's a whole, he's got Tom Brady. We talked about, Jeremy's talked about the culture and Pete Carroll. It's not the same Raiders he left just 6 months ago.
Yep.
It's a veteran coach who's won Super Bowls, won in the league, won everywhere he's been. Tom Brady's there now, and everyone's saying he's kind of running the show, even though he's a minority owner in it.
Right.
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Peerless Price went back to the Bills after we traded him, so you never know.
Love that man. Loved him as a wide receiver.
I'm telling you, for a bargain shopping list on a bargain price shop, I love Keenan Allen, Marquise Brown, and Darius Slayton.
Oh, I want Marquise on the Bills 100%.
Yeah,
I would take that.
I love those three.
You know how I feel about my OU, right? I would love for him to be on the Bills. That would be amazing.
Hurricane Mike's got the whole offensive plan.
Keenan Allen to the Bengals, Hollywood to Tampa, Slade to Vegas, and DA to the Titans. There's no way in hell Devontae Adams going to Titans.
Yeah, no way. No way. No.
Mike, they don't have a quarterback. He's been through. There's no way, bro. Now that one I disagree with you. Go ahead, Jim.
If I'm him, I'm not going there. Like, if that's even an option, I will take less money to go somewhere else because I don't want to put myself in a situation where it's going to be damaging my career. And at this point, too, you got to look at some of these guys and think, are they in this for the money now, or are they in this to win?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you always got to take that into consideration because the thing is like everybody wants to make their money, but you're going to get to that point in your career. And maybe it's when you get older. I don't know. Maybe some guys don't get there. But I think as a player, right? Like when I played in college, and granted, I never played football, right? Too small, look at me. I'm not a football player. And we know I can't kick field goals, so that ain't happening. But you want to win too, right? Like that's the whole point. You want to win a Super Bowl. You want to hold that trophy. You want that ring, right? Exactly. And maybe it's earlier in your career, maybe it's later. But at some point as a player, you want to have that highest honor of winning that Super Bowl. That's what you strive for, I think, at this level. And some of these guys are going to make choices based on where do they have. Look at Myles Garrett. He want to be in Cleveland because they ain't got no shot to win. He sees it year after year. He wants out. Like, he wants to win, and you can't fault these guys. And there is a price that we can't necessarily equate a dollar amount to per se, but there is a price to be paid for going to a contender, and you're willing to give up some of that to play at a contender.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's go to the side of the ball that everybody ignores, but football will never change. It will always come down to this. The interior offensive line. Gentlemen, take it away.
This is the at least offensively, the strongest positional group in free agency is the offensive line. When we look at the list we've put together, there's only a few. But right here you have Trey Smith, like somebody the Chiefs can't afford to let go after the disaster their offensive line showed to be in the Super Bowl. He's going to be a highly desired player. Like the offensive line is going to get paid this offseason.
Well, I have to. I mean, that's their thing. You look at, some of these guys, like you look at the fact you got to protect Patrick Mahomes, right? Like he is their cornerstone player on that team, right? Like they've invested a whole lot of money in him for a whole lot of years. And Trey Smith to the Vikings. I mean, it's a possibility. It's always a possibility. But honestly, I don't see him leaving Kansas City. I don't think they're going to. I don't see a world in which they don't find a way to make him part of that team. And if they do, they have made a complete catastrophic mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah. In both Super Bowls, they got destroyed. And what happened? Their offensive line just got
hammered. Absolutely hammered.
The year after that happened, they went out and they got Orlando Brown to fix their. So the Chiefs are a team that when they see something exposed like that, they go and attack it. So they're gonna. They can't attack and let their own guy go. So bringing him in, and they got to replace their tackles. Their tackles are horrendous.
Just bad. Dallas with the retirement now of Zach Morton. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys become a real option. And in Miami. Miami needs help on the offensive line.
Yes.
We have the Saints up there, but of course they have, the get camp compliance, but believe me, if they wanted Trey Smith and he was interested, they'll find the money and they will get it done. Because the Saints need a left guard on that team badly also. Now, the second guy on the list is Ronnie Stanley, the tackle from the Ravens. We got Chicago, the Jets, and the Commanders as possible landing spots. What's the thoughts on Ronnie Stanley?
I mean, it's the same thing we talk about in almost every position. Can he stay healthy? Mm-hmm. Like ever since the COVID year, he's been a sporadic player just in terms of availability. So you're signing him with the knowledge of, hey, you don't get healthier as you get older. So is he going to continue this downward spiral of missing a lot of time and that money's wasted? But all three of these teams here that we have listed desperately needed offensive line help, and two of them are to help second-year players so they don't get David Carr syndrome and have their careers ruined because the offensive line just makes them gun-shy.
Well, and the other thing is too, I mean, based on his health, you might be able to get him at a reasonable cost, right? Like you might be able to give him a discount where you're taking that chance of he may not be healthy, but how much can you get out of him and can you get him for the right price? Because money comes down to everything. So maybe he's not going to be your, 18-week starter, but he's going to get you.
Could be your swing tackle.
Also,
he could be your swing tackle. Now, this past season, he only allowed 2 sacks. He was penalized 13 times, and he was on the field for 1,062 plays. Mazda says Stanley was finally healthy this season, and he was back to his normal self. Okay, I like Stanley. I think Stanley. I think he's gonna commit a nice price on the market because let's be honest, offensive play around the National Football League has been down the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's from the college game going to more of a spread where everyone basically is just passing the ball. So the offensive line play just isn't as good as it has been in previous years. Right now, I think the Eagles are an anomaly to have the kind of talent that they have. If you have 6 bona fide starting caliber offensive linemen in the National Football League today, you better hold on to them. Because many teams don't have 3. Don't have 4. Let me say that. They might have 3. They might.
And that's where the Bills finally got it right. Like the offensive line this year for the Buffalo, all 5, and then our 6th, Anderson, who played a lot of snaps as our 6th offensive lineman. So we know what it's like to have a bad offensive line and what happens then.
Right.
Across the board strength there, but just when you have young the quarterbacks are only as good as their offensive line, no matter like an all-time great. Look how Patrick Mahomes looked when his line couldn't protect him.
You don't want to be running for your life, even if you can run.
Yeah, true. Now, next on the list is Will Fry, offensive guard from the Colts. Now, this past season, PFF, he graded out at a 86.9%. That was 4th in the league. His pass blocking was 74.9, and run blocking just under, you might as well say 85%. He was at 84.9, which was 5th among guards in the National Football League. He was only penalized 1 time this season. And allowed 2 sacks. That is it. He played 268 snaps this year. So he's one of those young kids, up and comers. He's only 26 years old, so he has his best years in front of him. Right now, you can say he's going into his prime. Mm-hmm. And right now, interior offensive line. What's the one place that a quarterback hates pressure the most? Directly up the middle. So if you can solidify that middle of your offensive line with the center and 2 guards, most time a quarterback can maneuver and deal with the pressure coming off the edge by just stepping up in the pocket or sliding to the left or sliding to the right. But Will Fries, gentlemen, your thoughts on Will Fries and the possible fits that we have?
You got it, Jeremy.
I mean, I like him as far as where I think he ends up. Like, I don't know. Man, I don't know. Honestly, anywhere with him. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of young talent there still, and it's one of those. You look at the position. I feel like these are so all these guys are so underrated in their own respect because they just don't get the acknowledgement that they should in that position. I feel like because it's so easy to overlook it, and it's like you just talk about it makes and breaks the team. Like quarterback is always going to be the guy that everyone looks at because it's flashy because you get the ball every time. But without any of these guys, you're toast. Like Like, honestly, I don't know.
I like him with either of those NFC West teams we have on the board.
The Cardinals
I like him with
either one of them.
Yeah. Well,
Especially,
I can definitely see him with the. I think he'll be a good fit up there for Geno and the Seahawks, solidifying that middle, like I say, solidifying, and then with the running backs they have up there,
Zach and Kenneth.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that would be that'll be a nice landing spot for him. And Arizona with Connor, you know what you got behind, you know what you're blocking for.
Yep.
You're blocking for a beast there now. And Jacksonville right now, a team not turmoil, but a team in transition. We got to see what we get from Coach Cohn and his staff with the Jaguars. And hell, do they even keep Trevor Lawrence? Do they trade Trevor Lawrence? Is Trevor Lawrence a draft day trade?
I never liked him. I never liked him in college. I still don't like him in that system. I don't think he's that great a quarterback. I don't know if he's a casualty of drafting necessarily, because you got Mac Jones, which maybe Mac Jones is the next Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
Who could say? Granted, he didn't play great at the end of the year, but he didn't play terrible.
Mac Jones? Who? Mac Jones?
Mac Jones. If I'm the Jaguars, I'm looking for a quarterback at this point. I'm looking for somebody because I don't think I feel like it's like a Daniel Jones situation. He's just not the guy. He's just not going to get you where you need to be at this point. How much more time and money do you spend on a quarterback at that point when you try to revamp the system and you can say, guys were hurt, this and that? I will say Brian Thomas Jr., though, had a hell of a year.
Yeah, that was a nice addition. Let's go to the center, the quarterback of the offensive line. The top guy out there, Drew Dolman of the Falcons. If I'm the Falcons, I'll re-sign him.
Yes. Yeah. Like you said earlier, Dolph, stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home.
Why go somewhere? You got a young, exciting quarterback. You got arguably two good running backs. B. John is special. You got Drake London. Hey, you got Michael Penix now under center.
If I'm Carolina, I throw a ton of money at him.
Yes.
If I'm Carolina, you need that, like you said, up the gut prep. With a small guy like Bryce Young.
Right. And then on top of that, you're weakening a division foe.
Yep.
So 2 for 1. There'll be a 2 for 1. And the Packers with Jordan Love. So the Packers, this past season, Drew Dolman penalized 3 times, allowed just 2 sacks. And his snap count was 554 snaps this season. Now, our watch list. I tell you, I like that watch list. Cam Robinson, Laurie Jackson, a kid who was on the rise, Tevin Jenkins, and Dan Moore. Of that list, Lawrence, who stands out to you?
I like Cam Robinson. I think he's going to be a good get for somebody who's. Again, it's not going to shake anybody. Like, the fans aren't going to be having a party and celebrating. Oh my God, we signed Cam Robinson. Right. But come December, when their quarterback is healthier and more upright than he's been, they'll be happy that they signed someone like Cam Robinson.
All right, Hurricane Mike says Cam Robinson to the Seahawks.
It's not a bad move.
Drew Dolman to the Ravens and Will Fries to the 49ers. Okay.
Mike, I love your interaction. Thanks for the energy today.
Hurricane Mike coming in hot. Coming in like a hurricane.
All right. We got 9 in the building. Real fans, Sports, our brother. Remember, come on in, Sports Network. Sorry for the Saints fan. Who you thought? What? The Saints play the Bills next year. Ooh. Hey, now what you mean sorry for? We ain't scared.
No, I guess when I comment, it says select also. Everyone who's associated comments what I typed in for the comment.
Yeah, we play them next year. Don't worry about it. They got to see us, baby. They got to see us. The thing is, you don't know what you're getting. You never know. We don't know. But listen, family, that's gonna bring our offensive free agent period to an end. It's been a great show. Well, let me make. We got anything? Am I missing something, Lance? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
No, next Sunday, guys, we'll be here doing the defensive breakdown. Same time, same channel. Going over the defensive players. The day before the legal tampering period starts, we'll have a
Yes.
live to do our actual predictions. We're going over all these guys now. That day before tampering, we're going to do our predictions. Who's going to go where, who's going to sign for what, and by then we're going to have a bigger list because teams are going to have cut people, traded people to get cap compliant.
Right.
So there's going to be an even bigger list of free agents that might alter where things head up. So make sure you're staying tuned to all of our networks to see and just follow along as the NFL offseason gets underway.
That's right. And like Lauren said, follow all our networks: Real Fan Sports, Uneducated Sports Talks, Keeping It Real Who That Sports Podcast, Eagles Talk with TJ, Come On In Bills with Jeremy and Lawrence, and the future home of the Hit Zone with Mr. J Hits. So yeah, just keep us on. Just follow our channels, family. Sign up to the Come On In Sports Network. Listen, we at 206. Our goal is to get this to 350. That's what we're aiming for. We thank everybody for all the support and being here with us. And listen, like Lawrence said, next week we will be live back, same time next week with the defensive free agents for the 2025 season. Tampering period will be close to beginning. Like he said, you're going to have teams cutting people. You're going to have a lot more franchise tags out there. Could have some surprise trades that happen this week. You never know. But to find out, you got to stay tuned. So I need you to subscribe to the channel. The link is there on the ticker. That's it right there. www.youtube.com/@comeoninsportsnetwork. John, the family, and of course, we are home. Come On In Sports Network is home to the #1 pregame show on all social media, baby. As the NFL turns, we're like no other. And I'm telling you, I ain't just saying it because it's us. I'm telling you, we good at what we do. It's entertaining. You learn something. It's educational, and you never know where the show gonna go. You never know, man. Especially with Coach Rock. You never know, especially with Coach Rock. You never know. You never know what's going to happen, man. Mozzie, great stream. Appreciate you, Mozzie. We running it back next week, nephew.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Next week, family. So with that being said, for Jeremy, for Lawrence, and for the entire Come On In Sports Network, thank you all for being here. And listen, we'll see everybody next week. Don't forget, set your notification bells. Mark it down, baby. We back in the building, baby. And we out.
The Come On In